So if Forest make it to the Champions League, are they set to be relegated out of it to end up in the Europa League? Welcome to your Forest news. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to your latest Forest news, and this news is important. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. Thank you so much for getting us to 24k, you absolute legends. On to 30k we go. And don't forget, if you want some additional transfer news, there's another striker link that'll be over on Patreon later on this afternoon, so that'll be exclusive for the Patreonees. Make sure you go check it out, scan that QR code or click on the link that's pinned in the comments. Okay, this is important to discuss because this has started to do the rounds, and I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, as things got closer, we would start to explain what happens in the scenario that Olympiacos and Forest both end up in the same European competition. So as things stand, the higher ranked team gets first dibs. And what I mean by that, let's say Olympiacos win the Greek League, which it looks like they're going to do, and Forest finish second in the Premier League. That means that Olympiacos get dibs. They would go into the Champions League, and Forest get demoted into the Europa League. And that's facts. That's how it is. And there's been an article put out in the Telegraph, and that's basically got everyone crapping themselves about what's going to happen now. Forest are going to have to get demoted and what have you. No, there's a lot of little nuances that I'll talk you guys through. So if we look at it currently, there are a few clubs that have these multi-club deals. In fact, let's go through some of this article. The sensational headline here is Premier League teams are being put off multi-club expansions over threat of European expulsion. Chelsea and Forest are facing being relegated from the Champions League to Europa League unless owners pause their interest in other clubs. So what's happened here? Chelsea have Strasbourg as a partnership. You've got INEOS, who own Manchester United. They also own Nice. I think Man City and Girona are linked together as well. There's all kinds of these multi-club systems setting up. As you know, we're bringing in Edu, as we've told you about, to bring in, because we've got the Portuguese club as well, and we're bringing in a Brazilian club. So it's a big empire and network of what's happening. Now, Man United is the example to set with you guys, because when INEOS bought Manchester United last year, they also owned Nice. They both qualified for the Europa League, and there was a chance that Man U could be relegated to the Conference League. However, what happened? Sir Jim will fix it, decided to pause his interests in Nice, and that is called doing a blind trust. So basically, he paused his interest in Nice until the 1st of July, put the affairs in the order there for someone with the blind trust, and then basically can pick the reset button up in July 2025. And that's how Man U got around being not demoted into the Europa Conference League. Now, how is this going to work for Forest? Well, the key bit here is that Forest have already taken action. And this is why I'm not even worried about this. The only reason I'm putting the story together is because maybe it'll help some of you guys understand what's going on. So Forest have already removed 2 directors. So obviously Marinakis owns the majority of Forest, but then Socrates owns a small stake in there. And as well, the other one is INEOS Vrentosos. Yeah, I know I'm quite Greek and I can't pronounce it. What's going to happen there? So this is my reading of what's happening. There's going to be sole control, and I say quotations with sole control, of Forest under Marinakis. Okay? Now, Olympiacos, I think, will come under the control of Socrates. Marinakis will do what I just told you about that Manchester United did, the blind trust into Socrates for Olympiacos. So what I expect to happen is Marinakis, if both qualify for the Champions League, Marinakis will put a pause on Olympiacos until July 2026. Now, what does a blind trust actually mean? Let me give you the definition of it. It's a financial agreement where a truster gives another party, the trustee, full control over assets and investment. The truster has no knowledge of the trust holding and cannot interfere with the trustee's decisions. Okay, so in essence, Marinakis is going to hand over power, but not really hand over power. Okay, this is just how people get around it. Now, there are issues with that. Well, firstly, first question that needs to be addressed is why is Marinakis handing over the reins at Olympiacos and not handing over the reins at Forest? Well, my understanding is from people I know who know Karen Borg, who has spoken about this to them, that Marinakis' main objective focus is Nottingham Forest. Olympiacos is going to take the back seat. And that's nothing against Olympiacos. I mean, he's grown up as an Olympiacos fan. This is a business move. Forest is going to demand a lot more of his time. If we're getting Champions League, the revenue, the sponsorship, he's going to have to bring in all kinds of deals. So that's going to happen as well, okay? So that's one thing to take into account. The other thing and the important thing here, and I think this is where Forest will be impacted, is transfers between the two clubs, as far as I understand, can no longer happen while they're both in the same competition. So Forest currently have 2 loanees out with Olympiacos. We've seen deals back and forth over the years. You know, you guys go and list them all. Let's see who can get all of them in the comments down below. So that will have to pause for the next 12 months. So any of the players we got on loan, we've got the defender on loan, another player. I can't remember the details now off the top of my head. That's going to have to end because if we end up in the same competition, it's basically like you can't share players. And the funny thing will be if Forest and Olympiacos draw each other in the Champions League. Wonder how that one will go. Anyway, so that's the breakdown of it. Don't get worried by all the sensational reports that are doing the rounds in the Telegraph. I think it's in the Guardian as well. Just know that every single club has a protocol in place for this scenario. I don't think this will slow Marinakis down from going and buying the other clubs either, in terms of the Brazilian club and whatever else he wants, man. It's Marinakis. What he wants, he can get. So all that in mind, hope that's made sense. I know I've blabbed on about it a little bit, but it's important to understand. I guess the bottom line is if all of that went straight over your head, if Forest and Olympiacos both qualify for the Champions League next season, Forest and Olympiacos will definitely be in the Champions League next season. However, Olympiacos would still need to go through a qualifier, but Forest won't. That's a whole other story. All right, let me know your thoughts on all of that. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new here. I hope this video was helpful to you. If it wasn't, sorry, and we'll see you on the next one. Go check out the Patreon video if you want some transfer news. Come on, you Reds.